President and CEO of 360 Modular Building Systems in Ferndale, Washington. Mr. Gordon will be addressing two of Rotary International's areas of focus: saving mothers and children and growing local economies. A native of South Dakota, Mr. Gordon graduated from Black Hills State University in 1990, where he began his career within the Governor's Office of South Dakota. Within 3 short years, he created and initiated 2 statewide economic development programs that became the most successful grassroots economic development programs in the United States. After 5 years with the Governor's Office, Mr. Gordon accepted the position of Director of International Operations for Daktronics. Daktronics is the world leader on video board scoreboard technology. In 2001, he purchased Superior Homes, and within 5 years, Alan engineered a new company that was focused on specialty projects, multifamily, commercial hotels, offices, classrooms, etc. In 2020, Alan received a patent for designing a super modular structure and partnered with a former Pacific Northwest customer to create 360 modular building systems. Their first project was to assist the region with tiny homes for those in need. Alan, welcome to the Rotary Club of Bellingham. You have the floor.
All right, thank you very much. I have, speaking to the Rotary over the years has been something I have done regularly. And when I traveled internationally through Daktronics, I presented to Rotaries in Argentina, Brazil, Chile, United Kingdom, Hong Kong, so among others, and Australia as well. So I'm very familiar with the Rotary Club, appreciate what it is that you do for folks, and it's a great organization. So thank you for having me. And a little bit about modular. We were 360 Modular Building Systems. I think you're kind of caught up. We were established like 2019. I have 2 partners in the business. One was a former customer. It was a general contractor turned into a former customer, where we built 4-story townhouses that we shipped from my plant in South Dakota all the way to northern British Columbia, Dawson Creek up there, where I think it was like 2,600 miles, which is a really long ways to go. I'm a 20-year modular pioneer. We started out building, quite frankly, single wide trailers, and over the course of the first 10 years, just in survival mode, going through some very difficult times in the early 90s, through Wall Street crash, we had to get real creative in what we did. And so we stepped out of the bounds of traditional modular and distribution modular, and built all kinds of things: offices, classrooms. We built projects in the Bakken when the oil was going crazy up in North Dakota, man camps, hotels, 2, 3, 4, and 5-story apartments, specialty housing projects, and worked directly with those companies like Halliburton and folks like that to engineer projects that they desperately needed for housing. Now, that kind of gets us into what we're doing. Our first project in Bellingham as we start winding up, and we're officially not ramped up fully at this point. COVID slowed us down, and obviously material pricing has just been crazy lately. So we're winding up slowly so that we can do it effectively. But our first project, we've got 2 more projects on the floor right now, but our first project was the tiny houses project for the Bellingham area, which was a great project for us. It was a project that allowed us to wind up a little bit and hire some really good employees. And at this point, we serve 3 local areas, regional areas: Washington, Oregon, and California. And just to give you a little idea how much opportunity for us is in those areas. In South Dakota, my plant in South Dakota, which we did quite well for 20 years, in a 90-mile radius, there were 125,000 people, if you can believe that. And in a 190-mile radius of our factory in the area, Bellingham area, there's arguably 10 million people, and there's no other modular factory. So we think we're in a good position to build some really good product for the folks in the area. We're going to be in the 100-employee area by January of this next year. There'll be full-time carpenters, framers, electricians, plumbers, HVAC specialists, general construction. Then we'll get into office managers, drafters, estimators, all kinds of very key and functional positions and well-paying positions. As you look into, everybody has a little own interpretation of modular, and I'll go back into the tiny homes project to talk about modular as well. But basically what it is, it's constructed off-site. It's built in a dry factory, and as you can tell, and obviously know that it rains quite a bit in the area, our area up there, and so keeping the product dry certainly also keeps mold away from collecting in the product as well. We say use identical, the same materials as site built, and I always say site built because you always hear the term stick built, and we actually have more sticks in our product than a site built does. So kind of a little joke around our factories has been, if you say the word stick built, you have to put $1 in the bucket for the Christmas party. We utilize architects, engineers. We have continuous third-party inspections so that as the product goes through the line, it's always inspected, and we want to make sure we're always building the right product. We're always building to the code, and quite frankly, we have more processes for that in a modular facility, and certainly our facility, than you would for on-site construction. One of the advantages of modular is you shorten your project timeline, so you can go concurrently. As the site built work is going, they're digging the foundation, putting in the infrastructure, that sort of thing. We're also building the mods in the factory, so your risk is shortened from a builder or developer, a GC, that you're only promoting half the risk because the other half is in the factory being in a controlled environment. The strength of a product. If you put my house, which was not modular, your house probably on a flatbed, and went down the highway 65 miles an hour, it probably wouldn't survive very well. You put our mods on a trailer and go down the highway 65 miles an hour, it'll be just fine. So it's engineered for strength. Obviously, you have no outside elements. It's greener built, so we're automatically a greener company, because if you look at an average home, you typically have a full dumpster plus load of garbage. On a modular build, we're able to control the material a bit better, and we also, I think the rule is you have about a third of a dumpster full for that gets dumped, and some of that can get reused in scraps like cripples or headers or blocks, things of that nature. And then of course the controlled quality environment. When I got into this thing 20 years ago, there were virtually everybody was building modular 1 or 2 floor modular houses. There was nobody building anything outside of that. Tiny homes. There was nobody building completely green, zero energy homes. There was nobody building 2, 3, 4-story apartments. Certainly nobody building, hotels at that level. And so in such a very short period of time, it's come a long way, and it's recognized by key builders, and certainly all the key GCs in the Bellingham area have reached out to us. We've had conversations with them because there's a real need to have a partner that can build mod products for the customers. Our target markets in this area are single-family housing, obviously, multifamily, hospitality, healthcare, and special projects. Special project might be the one we're doing right now for Camp Corey down in the Burlington area. And that's going to be a 9-building project for handicapped youth. And it's a really beautiful site, really beautiful program. And we're very excited about the project. And we're doing that as we speak. So single-family homes, it's funny. If you can in your mind design or imagine a modular building or modular house, if you can imagine it, we can build it. And the house up on the upper right was one that we built that went to Wisconsin from my South Dakota plant. I believe there were 11 mod boxes in that house. And then you just build the boxes, and it's like Legos. It's like Legos and Transformers. It's really fun. And we can do anything from the little cabin, gingerbread cabin we built on the lower right, to the to obviously the tiny homes we did for the Bellingham area. And on those particular ones we built for Bellingham, they should last 100 years. The outside, they're all built around a very sturdy steel frame. We still frame those things. You can see the frame sticking out of the top. And then the walls inside the frames are 2x4, 2x6 outside walls. The flooring is 2x6 floors, insulating the floor, insulating the ceiling. You have an electrical plug-in like you would have for a RV. And believe me, it's got a nice R value. So when those cold nights, the folks that are utilizing those will stay very warm. LP flooring. They've got a nice egress window, and they also have a LED light that turns on and off. And the door lock, for the safety of those that are staying inside, the door lock is a combination lock that gets changed per every customer. The next one is a multifamily project we built in California. That was one of 7 buildings. And as you look at it, there's no way that looks like a modular build. And it was a nice little project for us to build in South Dakota. We shipped it all the way to California. So just, we were very well known in this market for multifamily and hospitality. And people reached out to us. And we expect the same thing in the Bellingham area. The next slide shows the Truckee, California project. As the project was shipped there, this is the construction site. So you can start seeing that the site built, they're building infrastructure, they're doing some on-site stuff. The mods show up, they get craned into place, they finish off the roof. The insides were already 100% complete, like you see on the right. Those, with the exception of the TV on the wall and the furniture, they were all ready to go. And that's one of the big advantages of mod. Hospitality, these are 2 of my last hotels I built. The one on the right is a Holiday Inn Express. The one on the left is a Fairfield by Marriott. All built in a modular factory. Each one of those buildings was put together in 5 days. So the bedrooms were done, the furniture was in it, the beds were there, the headboards are in place. They just get craned into place, and the hallways were unfinished. They finish the hallways on site. And so 2 months after they are craned into place, they're ready and open for business. You can see the inside of the hotel and how it looks. The rooms, as I mentioned, were 100% complete. All that furniture you see in there was already in there, which really speeds up the process. Just having the furniture in there speeds up the process, they think, by 30 days. The next one is a senior living project we did in Kansas City from South Dakota. So that was about 900 miles away. And as you look at it, there's no way it looks like a modular building. On this particular one on the inside, you'll see you have a dining hall, and you also see that you have the kitchen area. And so this was all built in our factory, shipped like this. Obviously, the furniture wasn't there, but the rest of it was. And this 49 or 50 mod project was put together in about a week. That just maybe a little over a week is all put together. Specialty projects. This one was a residential over retail. They wanted to look like an old west town. This was up in the Bakken in North Dakota when the oil was going crazy. They have apartments above, residential. They end up being, I think, like a Subway, a doctor's office, a dental office, a few other offices. And on the backside, it's on a walkout where they have a drive-in garage, where then you walk up 2 stories for 2 stories of living space. It was a really nice project. It just demonstrates what you can do with modular. The next project you're looking at is a man camp we did up in the Bakken. This thing is like a spider. That main area, which was the lodge, has 5 fingers going out each side. And the whole lot size of this thing is about 7.5 acres. And inside this thing, inside the lodge, for example, you've got all the areas of home. You've got internet, you've got TVs, they've got TV sections. There's a full commercial laundry, full commercial kitchen. that served 2,000 meals a day. And each one of these windows you can see represent a small hotel room. This thing from start to finish was all put together, set up. There was crops in the field. They came out. We started production. They started on site. That took less than 5.5 months to get about, I think it was 700 people into these units. And that saved Neighbors, the drilling company, about $2.5 million a month on lodging by having this in place. So it was a rush project. It turned out to be a good project, but it just goes to show you the convenience of modular.
Alan, we're going to need to wrap this up.
Okay. All right, I'll just a couple more seconds. The next slide you see is the modular being craned into place. This was a hotel project. And the last one was the finished product that you saw.
Wonderful. And Alan, can you stick around for a few minutes afterwards in case folks have questions?
I would love to.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for your presentation today.